F.E.A.R 2, the much anticipated sequel of the first F.E.A.R game, was released on February 10th, 2009 for Microsoft Windows, Xbox 360, and PS3. On release, F.E.A.R 2 rose to the number 2 on both US PC charts and UK all formats charts, and was the most queued title on GameFly according to the Wikipedias that I'm reading. Yeah, I know, right? Most queued title on GameFly? What an accolade.
Leave my friend alone, motherfucker! Wait. Why'd you scream?
There are 1,000 people ahead of me to get the new F.E.A.R 2 game on GameFly.
Oh, you, man. Just download it or torrent it or whatever. I don't give a
Playing through the second game in the series, I would constantly be comparing it to the original, and rightfully so. I mean, when it comes to sequels of any sorts, that's what you do, because you would hope that good old number 2 does better. But this game suffers from what I like to call the curse of the number 2, aka number 2s usually blow ass. Come on, we refer to taking massive shites as going number 2. Winning number 2 in any competitive scene means you lost, the middle child is always a rebel, 2s are just generally bad. However, there have been some good old number 2s out there. Halo 2, Smash Bros 2, Half-Life 2, Shrek 2, Terminator 2, The Human Centipede 2, you. It's hard to recapture what made the original so great, and in the case of the F.E.A.R franchise was the creepy atmosphere and Alma herself. If you haven't already, click on this link or the first link in the description to go watch our review of the first F.E.A.R game. Also, spoiler warning for F.E.A.R 2. F.E.A.R 2 should also be known as Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This game improves on a lot of things from the first one. The graphics are higher quality, the guns feel better, you can ADS, and the overall shooting is pretty fun. That being said, trying to be a broed out Call of Duty shooter didn't help the overall F.E.A.R aspect of this game. To me, there were very few portions throughout this title that were actually genuinely scary, and I'll explain why in a bit. The gunplay and fighting in the sequel haven't changed too much from the original. You can still go slow-mo, allowing you to gamer all over your enemies, you can punch, jump kick, and they even added a power slide, which doesn't really get used all that often. This time you can hold 4 weapons instead of 3, which is always an improvement in my eyes, because choosing which weapons to keep and which ones to yeet is always hard for my indecisive gamer brain. You can also switch your rate of fire on your weapons. Your arsenal to choose from includes an SMG, an AR, an automatic shotgun, pump shotgun, pistol, sniper, rocket launcher, laser, flamethrower, and my favorite weapon, the dart gun, makes its return. Yep, you can still pin enemies to walls, but this time they go flying. There's also a BFG-like gun that annihilates enemies. The UI for the most part wasn't terrible, but could have been better. For example, with 2 different shotguns you can use, they also have different ammo types as well, even though it shows the same icon. As far as collecting things throughout the game, there are a bunch of intel items you can pick up along the way, as well as syringes that increase how long you can go slow-mo. There are also sections of the game where you can jump in mechs and shred your way through enemies. Although these frat boy COD moments were fun to experience, it really detracts from the horror elements. This sequence towards the end of the game in specific shows F.E.A.R 2's identity crisis. Wait, did Morales scream or was that part of the song? The story in this game follows a new squad of characters and takes place alongside the original story. You play as a new character named Beckett, and your squad is tasked with taking the ATC president Aristide into custody. The events from the first F.E.A.R happened, nuking the city, then Beckett has hallucinations and is in and out of consciousness, seeing doctors operating on him. He wakes up in the hospital bed and now has his super slow motion ability as well as the ability to attract Alma and her soldiers to him. My issue with this game's story is it's basically just a retelling of the story in the first game. I get it, you're playing as new characters who are trying to figure out what the crap is going on, not to mention all the paranormal activity that is happening around them. But as a player, we already know this from the first game. Maybe they really wanted to spell it out for the player to leave no confusion, I don't really know. An aspect of the game I did enjoy was some of the level design. You fight your way through a hospital, secret underground facilities, and even an abandoned school, which was my favorite mission. There was a part in this game that had you scaling your way down into the giant crater that was created from Point Man nuking the place, and that was pretty cool as well. Another big role that played into the lack of horror in F.E.A.R 2 was its use of lighting. We all know as humans that darkness can be scary. Not being able to see what's in front of you or where you are going is not fun, and in the first F.E.A.R game, they got it right. I mentioned this in the first F.E.A.R video we made, and I'll mention it again here because I feel it is a huge part of what makes some things scary and others not so much. The human emotion fear itself is usually created by the individual. That is why some people are afraid of certain things while others are not, like clowns or heights or even spiders. That is why darkness plays a role, or better yet, the unknown. The fear of the unknown is what allows people to conjure up their own worst fears. But in this game, it's so bright almost all the time that the fear of the unknown doesn't really exist because you can see. And when horror beats do happen, it's like the sun just came into the room burning your eyes and it's hard to tell what is even going on. Not to mention that we already know about Alma, which is the big driving factor in the first game. Don't get me wrong, there are moments in this game that are just downright creepy. When you are in one of the research facilities, you come across these mutated humans that crawl around, and the way they move is very unsettling. There's also another enemy that when I first encountered it was weirded out by it. It was a monster that when I first saw it holding a briefcase in hand waving down a taxi in a destroyed city had my sympathy, but once engaged in combat it used a puppet jutsu on me. You later encounter the same enemy playing the piano in the music room. The use of the darkness was very prevalent in the school and set a very creepy atmosphere, and is probably why I enjoyed that mission so much. The story in the first game was very eerie, and is what drives the player to keep playing the game. Right from the beginning you see F.E.A.R, who is a cannibal, I guess? You get glimpses of Alma, and the fact that you don't really know anything about her is the unknown that is scary. F.E.A.R 2 just doesn't capture that same atmosphere that the first one had, as well as having one of the weirdest endings I have ever experienced in a video game. You are trying to kill Alma the entire time. Once you get to the end, you start hallucinating while trying to destroy her with your superpowered gamer brain. But she ends up, and I kid you not, raping you and getting pregnant with your child. Wow. Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. F.E.A.R 2 isn't a horrible game, but it's not a very good horror game. It is a full-blown shooter with lots of fun shooter moments, but really lacks in the whole fear department. Maybe this game was just a big setup for the third one, and we're gonna get a very satisfying climactic ending. Either way, the curse of the two claims another victim. That's it. I think I'm just gonna fully embrace the one and done method with everything I do in life, because I'm sick of the curse of the dreaded 2.
Stop worrying, okay? There's a lot of sequels with the number 2 that turned out great.
No, I can't risk it. I've gotta live my life on the safe side. And yes, that means I'm gonna hang on to my virginity for as long as I have to, until I meet the most perfect girl who I can have one child with.
Notified to you first.
You're like free pizza at an anime convention. She can smell you, and she wants to consume you.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video, always appreciated. Also up on screen we have our Patreon supporters. If you want to support us on Patreon, click the first link in the description and you can get your name at the end of each of our Friday videos just like them, as well as access to exclusive podcasts. You'll get the podcast early, and behind the scenes and exclusive videos that we can't upload on YouTube. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and as always, keep it rad.